Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Excited to share with you a new foundation. You guys have been asking if I was going to review this, and my order was a little late getting to me. Guys, a lot of my recent orders have been delayed for some reason. Some I even thought were lost, some did get lost, but I am thankful that this order arrived because I am trying out the new Tarte Amazonian Clay Powder Foundation. Now, I have recently reviewed the Gem Powder Foundation. This was released a couple months ago, so I'll have this linked in the description box in case you want to check this out. And I am going to be comparing this one to the new one. Now, these are two different powders. They're even different consistencies. This is a loose powder, and this new one that we're going to be trying out today is a pressed powder. Now, this new Amazonian Clay Powder Foundation comes in 21 different shades. It retails for $39 right now, only available on the QVC website, and you do get a little kabuki style brush, which I will not be using this. I don't want to open this. I'm going to save this for an upcoming giveaway, but I have this brush like 3 times over, so I really don't need that. And besides, I have a BK Beauty brush that I love using with powder foundations. That's what you'll see me use in the application portion of today's video. Let me give you guys some specifics on this one. So I picked up shade 18N, which is fair, light, neutral. And by the way, I love the packaging on this. This is a really nice little compact. You do get a mirror, and that's what the product looks like. And I have the exact same shade in the Gem Powder Foundation as well. Now, this one was also released first on the QVC website, and it did come with a brush. That's why I'm not opening this one, because the brushes are not exactly the same, but they're almost the same. Now, this is going to be a full coverage foundation that's going to provide us with 16 hours of wear. Now, this does say that it's going to blur the look of pores, fine lines, and imperfections. It has some type of optical blurring powders in it that's going to just give us like a filtered effect. It says it does contain hyaluronic acid complex, which is going to help retain the skin's moisture for a brighter and plumper appearance. Again, 16 hours wear. It says it's not going to cake, it's not going to flake, it's not going to settle, and it's going to look shine free. It is formulated with Amazonian clay, which is also going to help to absorb excess oil. It says it's talc free with a very finely milled formula that's going to give us a light as air feel, and it's also vegan. I also want to point out that it does say this is formulated with vitamin E, bark extract, which is going to be an anti-inflammatory ingredient, and it's also formulated with castor seed oil, which is going to again hydrate and smooth while reducing the look of fine lines. We'll see, guys. We'll see if it indeed does all of those things. I do have it on right now. This is day 1 when I'm filming this intro, but I will say first impression, I really do like the packaging of this quite a bit. So this is of course going to be a 2-day 10-hour wear test. In case it is your first time here on my channel, first and foremost, hello and welcome. My name is Steph. I love doing foundation reviews. I am 40 years old and I have normal to oily skin, oily primarily in my T-zone. I am here to try all the foundations, any type of foundation. I am down for trying it, and I have to be very honest about this particular powder foundation. Now, this is supposed to be the powder version of their liquid / cream Amazonian Clay Foundation, which I have reviews on, like the new formula, revamped formula that came out last year. I don't like that one. I didn't like the original formula. I don't like the new formula. That foundation is probably one of the worst that I've ever tried, and it's absolutely the worst I've ever tried from Tarte. I do like a lot of Tarte products. They do make good concealers, good foundations, primers, setting sprays. They make a lot of good stuff. Mascara, which I have the new Tarte mascara. I'm going to be using that in an upcoming video, but maybe I'll use it tomorrow just so we can see how it's going to look. But that Amazonian Clay Foundation is one of the worst that I've ever tried. And so this is the powder version of that. So I'm going in with an open mind, but I'm still going in knowing that didn't work for me at all. So on day 1, you will of course see me apply this foundation. I'm not going to be using a primer. Normally I would say I'm not going to be using powder, but this is a powder. But I'm not really going to spot conceal much. I'm not going to use setting spray. and we're just gonna see how the powder foundation does all day for 10 hours. Now on day 2, that's gonna be the real test because I'm gonna be wearing it with all of the helping products, especially primer and setting spray, but I'm also gonna be wearing the gem powder on one side of my face. That way we can compare and see which Tarte powder foundation is gonna be perfect for you. And guys, of course, I will have everything that I'm wearing, everything I'm using both on and off camera, linked and listed in the description box of today's video. Some of those things might be affiliate links, so if you do end up shopping through them, I thank you so much for supporting me and my channel. If y'all want to see the new Tarte Amazonian Clay powder foundation in action, keep on watching. So for day 1, there's going to be no primer, no setting spray. I'm going to try and just spot conceal one side of my face and not the other, just so that we can see, you know, how it reacts, how it works that way. Typically on day 1, I try not to wear any helping products. And normally I would say powder, but this is a powder foundation. Now this does say it's going to give us 16-hour full coverage wear. I like the compact, guys. That's really cool. It's like a pearl, like a pearlized finish on the front, and it doesn't feel too heavy. It's just the right amount of weight. And here is the shade. It does come with a puff, and mine came with a brush, which I have this brush like 3 times over already, so I'm gonna save this and include it for an upcoming giveaway. I'm gonna use a brush I know, love, and trust, and it is the BK Beauty 106 brush. This is my favorite brush for applying powder foundation and even going in with like that Huda Beauty Glowish or the Dior Backstage Powder No Powder. This is a brush I like to use for those. And let's start applying this. What I want to do first though, because I'm gonna do some concealer under my eye, I'm going to go in with the new Dominique Cosmetics Wide Awake Concealer. This has a stainless steel, oh, it feels so good too, stainless steel applicator. You can give your under eye a massage. I have reviewed this already. It made my May favorites, so definitely check that out. And I'm using my favorite concealer brush, the BK Beauty A506, to spread that out. Now, typically when I wear powder foundation, I usually put some concealer on my nose and then right here on the sides of my cheeks where I have old acne scars and minor discoloration. And I even do a little bit like in the T-zone, just where I want that extra coverage, that coverage to really last all day. But I'm not gonna do that today. I am gonna spot conceal just this side of the cheek, just so that we can see how it's going to go. So now let's start applying this foundation. So I'm going to be using circular motions just to buff it into the skin. The puff that is included is so that you can touch up throughout the day as needed. But I won't be doing any touch-ups just because that's what I do when I do these foundation reviews. I want to show you guys how it's going to look on its own all day. So I think the shade for me is perfect. I'm usually between 14 and 18 in Tarte. So I definitely feel like it's covering everything. Do I feel like it's full coverage? I don't know. So here's with one application and no applications. I mean, I think it looks nice, but I don't feel like it's full coverage. Okay, well, let me go and start doing this other side. So I can still see right here on the side of my cheek some of that minor discoloration. And I feel like on this side, it looks a little bit better. Okay, let me take a closer look at this. So I see it settling into pores right in here. Versus this side with the concealer, it does look a little bit smoother. And that's typically why I like to apply my concealer, obviously first because it's a cream product, but to these specific areas where I want that more coverage and where I have larger pores, just so I could give it that added blurred effect. And then right here, I know you can see that, it looks a little cakey. So all I had on was obviously my daytime skincare and my sunscreen. And I definitely don't feel like I have full coverage there at all. Like, I don't really even like the way this area looks. I'm gonna see if using the little puff is gonna be better. Somehow I don't think so. I don't like using a puff for powder foundation. No. Yeah, no. Not a huge fan of how that's looking, and I don't know that I want to keep applying just because I feel like it's just going to continue to get cakey. So I'm sure you can see it like right in this area where it does look cakey. It's not looking as good as I was expecting it to look. It's definitely not my e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. That one is a beautiful foundation. But okay, guys, I'm probably going to be adding like blush and bronzer and stuff because I do have a couple other videos I need to film today. I'm pre-filming a bit because I do go on vacation really soon and I want to leave content for you guys to watch while I'm gone. So, yeah, I'll finish off the rest of my makeup off camera. This is how the complexion is looking. I'll do my first check-in of the day probably sometime after lunch so we can see what it looks like at the 5-hour mark. And then, of course, the end of this day one, we'll see how this wore. Right now, not a big fan, not really liking it, but sometimes some foundations just need a minute, an hour to kind of settle in. And maybe once my oil starts coming through, maybe that'll just help it to all look a little bit better, mesh better. I don't know. We'll see. I'll check in with you guys a little bit later. Hey guys, 5-hour check-in here, and I just went outside to take a couple pictures so you can see what this looks like on my skin in natural lighting. And it's hot, guys. Like, I couldn't even stand to be out there for the minute that I was out there taking those pictures. But here's what it's looking like on my complexion. I feel, and I think you're gonna notice this in the picture that I insert right after this portion, I feel shiny, and you can kind of see some of the shininess, especially when I'm outside. But I don't feel like it's controlling my oil as good as some other foundations that typically do around this time. Like right now, the 5-hour mark, this should look pretty good. And I will say, like I mentioned in the application, sometimes a foundation needs a little bit of time to just settle in. I think it looks better on the forehead, but all around here, it's only been 5 hours. It's already looking cakey. So I'm not too sure. I feel like I like this side that has the concealer underneath it better. I'm thinking this might be better as a finishing powder, not a finishing powder, a setting powder. I feel like this is probably gonna work better for most of us that way. I don't know, guys. I mean, we'll see tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna wear it with primer and stuff. But it's not, it looks good from a distance. And I filmed another video and I thought, and the intro today of this video, and I thought my makeup looked really good from a distance. But then when you get up close and look in the mirror and, you know, hear that I'm putting the camera really close, it kind of looks a little like a hot mess, and it's too early in the day to look like a hot mess. So we'll see what this looks like at the 10-hour mark. 5 more hours to go, so I will check in with you guys then. Alright guys, 10-hour check-in here, trying out this new Tarte Amazonian Pressed Powder Foundation. I definitely feel a little bit more oily than I was at the 5-hour check-in. And right here, it has really settled into my pores. You can see it's kind of caking up right there on the sides of my nose. It's still broken up all around my mouth. It kind of rubbed off here on my chin. You know, it's just not as blurring and smoothing as it claims to be. I had a better experience with the Gem Powder Foundation, which I will be wearing both of them side by side. That way we can compare them and see which one is going to be right for you. So I will be showing you the application portion in the morning. That way you can see which side is which powder. But I don't think this did especially great. I don't think it did terrible, but It's not anything that I'm excited about right now. I do have a feeling tomorrow it's going to go better when I pair it with the primer and setting spray, and I am going to spot conceal on both sides of the cheeks. You guys will see all of that, but I really do have higher expectations tomorrow than how it looked today. I feel like it comes across good on camera, like at this distance that I'm at, but when you get up close and look in the mirror and you're looking at me in person, it looks like a hot mess. I'm still with that. I still feel like that's how it looks. Guys, this is a very lightweight foundation. Like, it feels like I'm really not wearing anything. So I will give it that. So we'll see tomorrow, guys. We'll see how it looks tomorrow. Which side is going to win? Is it going to be the gem powder? Is it going to be this new Amazonian pressed powder foundation? So definitely stay tuned. Let's get started with day 2 application. For primer, I'm going to go in with this one from Tarte. It is a Timeless Smoothing Primer. This is a nice pore filling and blurring primer that I especially like to use whenever I'm going in with a powder foundation. So I just kind of warm it up between my fingertips, and now I'm just going to really focus this on my T-zone especially, since this is where I have the larger pores, and right here on my cheeks. Now for concealer, I'm going to go in with the Tarte Power Flex Concealer, and I have the shade of 14N in this one. I have a review over it. I'm just going to make a Tarte playlist. That's what I've noticed. Like, I don't have one, and I seem to be reviewing a lot of Tarte lately. Now, normally what I would do when I wear powder foundation is I do add some concealer to my nose, right up here and right here. These are the areas I want to spot conceal, obviously under my eye area, and I want to just give my nose and my forehead, the oiliest places on my face, a bit of a base. Okay, so this is typically what I do whenever I apply any powder foundation. Now I have my 2 BK Beauty 106 brushes. These are my favorite for applying powder foundation. So I'm going to go in first with the Gem Powder Foundation, and I have the shade 18N, which is the exact same shade I'm using in this new Amazonian Clay Powder Foundation. And there you can see what it looks like. I feel like this shade, for some reason, is darker. Maybe because it's a loose powder. So I'm going to start buffing. I am going to set the under eye area with a little bit of loose setting powder, but I'll do that when I get done here. I don't like to use powder foundation. I don't like to take it up under my eye area. I find that it's just a little too heavy. Now this Gem Powder Foundation has been working out really well for me. Does it beat my e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation? Not quite. Not quite. But this is a nice one. If you're wondering how this one in particular, since it is a loose powder consistency, how it compares to the Bare Minerals loose powder foundation, I would say I like this one better. I used to use Bare Minerals a lot when I was growing up. Now as an adult, not so much. I don't really find that it works for me. I do and will forever use the Bare Minerals concealer. That I still have. And it's a powder concealer. If I have a zit that's really red, does a great job at concealing it and staying concealed all day long. So here's the Gem Powder Foundation. I think that looks so pretty. And again, just adding that concealer and the pore filling primer is really going to help when you're wearing powder foundation to just help give the blurred and smooth out appearance. Let's jump over to the left side, and we're going to go in with the new Amazonian Powder Foundation. So you can see, I think this looks lighter than this one. I don't know. Let's try it out. So I have my other brush. Start buffing. So let me take a closer look. Okay, so right here with the new powder foundation, I still feel like it's settling into pores. I'm sure that's gonna kind of iron itself out because it kind of did that yesterday. and it looked okay once I applied the rest of my makeup. But over here, I feel like it just looks a little bit smoother. And then see, even right here again, right there on my forehead, same place like yesterday. Well, yesterday was all over, but right here, the new powder side. Okay, so what I like to do right now is give myself a spritz Morphe Continuous Setting Mist just to help everything mesh together. I am going to add a little bit of this Catrice True Skin Loose Powder to set the under eye concealer. And then I'm just going to go in with the rest of my makeup. I will be adding Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray once I get done with my entire face of makeup. And I'll be back in 5 hours. It'll be after lunchtime. We'll see how this is wearing. Is it going to be gem powder, new Amazonian clay powder? We'll see, but I'm really excited for today's wear test. Hey guys, 5-hour check-in here on this day 2. We got gem powder on this side, new Amazonian clay on this side. Let me quickly tell you the differences that I've seen. Over here on the gem powder, I feel it looks very smooth, very blurred. I have no complaints about this side. Whereas over here on this side with the new Amazonian clay, it is still settled into my pores. I feel it looks like a little bit cakey. And even though I added a blush, bronzer, highlighter, I'm still not as satisfied with how it looks versus this side. I love the way this side looks. Over here, not so much. Still has 5 more hours to go. We'll see if it can get its act together. But as of right now, gem powder is definitely in the lead. Alright guys, we've come to the end of this 2-day 10-hour wear test trying out the new Amazonian Clay Blurring Powder Foundation from Tarte. So I have the gem powder on the right side, and then over here on the left I have the new Amazonian Clay Powder Foundation. So in looking at both sides and just, you know, kind of inspecting them further, I have to say I'm going to give it to the gem powder side. This side just wore a little bit better. I feel like it just looks smoother. It looks a bit more blurred versus this side. Again, it's just settled into my pores. I feel like it kind of accentuated the texture I have. I don't have a lot of texture, but what I have, it kind of accentuated it. And even up here, like it's, you know, kind of caked up on me and stuff, and it did that yesterday. So I think the way I'm going to treat this Amazonian Clay Powder Foundation going forward is just using it as a setting powder. I'm not going to rely on it to be my foundation. I do think it did a much better job today, though, with the primer, the concealer. Guys, the Tarte Power Flex Concealer is an awesome concealer. I'd highly recommend you guys checking it out. And then, of course, with the setting spray, but I'm going to reserve this more for just setting powder, touch-up powder throughout the day. I really like the gem powder a lot better on my normal to oily skin as a powder foundation, and I've been using this. I've been using this for the last few months that I've had it, and it's been working out really well. The way you saw me do my makeup today is the way I normally do it whenever I wear a powder foundation. Always prime, always do concealer first, and then I buff in the powder foundation with that BK 106 brush. And guys, I forgot to mention this earlier, but I am trying out the new Tarte tubing mascara. This is a tubing mascara. I'm doing a little Instagram reel and probably a YouTube short on this mascara. So today has been a wear test with this one as well. So definitely stay tuned. I think I'm going to have that footage go up tomorrow. But the mascara is a winner, just FYI. So let me know your thoughts, guys. What did you think of this new Tarte Amazonian Clay Powder Foundation? I know a lot of you asked me if I was going to review it. You guys know I love reviewing foundations, new concealers, all of that stuff, guys. I'm here to try it so you don't have to. Packaging is aces. What's inside?
is definitely going to be more of a setting powder than an actual powder foundation. I think if you're looking for a powder foundation to try out on the affordable side, definitely look at the e.l.f. Camo Powder Foundation. That is a beautiful powder foundation. On the high-end side, I really like the Fenty Pro Filter Powder Foundation and the Tarte Gem Powder Foundation. Those have been some really good powder foundations, as are the ones from IT Cosmetics. IT Cosmetics makes amazing powder foundations. So let me know what you think. Are you going to be picking up this new Tarte powder foundation? Did you know it came out? I'm not entirely sure why Tarte released this new powder foundation, but I guess now there's something for everybody. Either you want a loose or you want a pressed. You got some options now when it comes to Tarte. I want to thank you guys so much for watching another one of my videos. You all have a great day or night, wherever it is you all are at. Stay hydrated, guys. Drink that water, and we'll see you all very soon. Bye.